My initial vision of open world games returns to the FC console era. In the era of 2D horizontal games, I found that there can be a kind of indescribable excitement that you get when you find a hidden map in a corner of a level. And it often comes to my mind all the hidden scenery behind the backdrop that just cannot free itself. And then suddenly your teacher wakes you up and sends you to the hall for punishment. Probably the most attractive part of open world games for me was discoverability, which can be easily done. After I grew up and played more open world games, I found that a good open world game is much more than that. How do you create a superb game that conforms to common sense like The Legend of Zelda and integrate this common sense and daily logic into the gameplay and use such fantastic imagination? It can reach the point where players can conduct unlimited exploration in a game. But all open world games trace back its roots to its ancestor, Ultima 1, The First Age of Darkness. This game was made in June of 1981, relatively early. Although there were technical limitations at the time, many of the design elements were indeed the most important cornerstones of open world games, especially the huge and unlimited missions and map designs. For example, the originator of Sega's sandbox game is Shenmue. In fact, the beauty of open world games has been pointed out in Shenmue. The characters all live their own lives, like the men in shirts who go fishing on the pier every afternoon, like the elderly in suits needing to drink tea in the backyard at dawn, like the children running home after school ends. NPCs shouldn't just be generated out of thin air meaninglessly, only letting you go deliver something to someone, burn down something, or kill someone. They should also have their own daily routines and interactions with players. There are sisters to talk to you while you hang out, there are gangsters who will yell at you, pickpockets who will steal your phone from the car, family members of killed characters who come to especially kill you. Then you will think, this is what a living world is. So today, I'm going to make a list of the biggest video game maps. And by the way, this list doesn't include any sandbox games such as Minecraft and No Man's Sky. Because the size of the game depends on the size of your hard drive, this means that because the size of Minecraft is 30 million by 30 million by 4, to open the entire game and its map, you would need 60,400 terabyte hard drives. As for the game No Man's Sky, the game company claimed that when the game was first released, there were these many planets in deep space. Do you know what this means? This means that even if you spent 1 second on each planet, it would still take you 36 billion years to explore all of them. The planets, because it's impossible to explore at all, is pretty much infinite. The size of these games is so large because they're randomly generated. Not like in games like The Witcher 3, Elder Scrolls, and Zelda, where every grass and flower is carefully designed by the producer. So thus, sandbox games won't count in this list because it's not fair to other open world games. For comparison, the map size in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is 28.9 square miles, or about 74.85 square kilometers, and the map area of Grand Theft Auto 5 is 31 square miles, or about 80.29 square kilometers. The games I'll be listing next will be much bigger than these two. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Ghost Recon Wildlands is developed by Ubisoft Paris Studios, officially launched in March 2017, and is an action shooting game. Players will play as a Ghost Squad soldier in the game, deep into the wilderness of South America to fight drug crime in Bolivia. This game is Ubisoft's largest map of open world games ever, and includes 21 regions in the game and 26 bosses. The map spans 11 ecosystems, including marshes, mountains, and jungles. The total area has reached 440 square kilometers, almost as big as 4 GTA 5s. In the game, if players were to just walk, they can't even cross the whole map, even if they were to walk straight for an entire hour. At the beginning of the century, Grand Theft Auto Sin City was produced and sold. Many manufacturers have seen the game's high degree of freedom to bring players an excellent gaming experience. And of course, it's hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. Luxoflux developed a similar game in 2003, which is Real Crime Streets of Los Angeles. Unlike the protagonist of Grand Theft Auto, the protagonist of this game is a police officer. In the game, players will be affected by their actions, becoming a hero or falling into the darkness. Other than that, the game's characteristics are almost the same. The biggest features of this game is that it duplicates the urban environment of Los Angeles. The game map covers an area of 620 square kilometers, which is equivalent to half the size of Los Angeles in reality. Just Cause 3, released in 2015, is the third work of the Just Cause series, developed by Avalanche Studios. The story of this game takes place on a virtual island nation in the Mediterranean. The protagonist returns to his hometown to resist the evil and brutal dictatorship after the previous generation's game solved the crisis in Southeast Asia. The virtual island in the game has 29 areas with a huge area of more than 1,000 square kilometers, which is equivalent to 12 times that of Los Angeles in GTA 5. After the game was released, some players walked through the entire game map on foot, and it took a total of 8 hours and 40 minutes. Now that's some real perseverance. Test Drive Unlimited 2. This is a racing game that emphasizes authenticity, produced by French Eden Games in 2011. The main scenes of this game is in Ibiza, with Spain as the background. In the early days of the game, the satellite photos of Spain were carefully referenced, and the actual scenes were almost completely copied into the game. Once you're familiar with the road in the game, even if you go to this part of Spain in reality, you will not get lost. In addition, you can see Oahu Island, with Hawaii as the background. The total area of the map in this game is more than 1,600 square kilometers. In addition to driving, when the players have enough money, they can buy a yacht and experience the joy of traveling in the sea. Final Fantasy XV is an action role-playing game developed and published by Square Enix as part of the Final Fantasy series. It was released for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in 2016, Microsoft Windows in 2018, and Stadia as a launch title in 2019. The game features an open-world environment and action-based battle system, incorporating quick-switching weapons, elemental magic, and other features, such as vehicle travel and camping. In the Final Fantasy map screen, if you calculate the distance between the character and its destination, and calculate how many kilometers each pixel represents by calculating the scale of the map area and video resolution, then calculating the pixel area of the world map by placing this map on a real world map, the final estimated area of the world map in Final Fantasy XV is 786.4 square miles. Coming in second place, we have Fuel. This game was produced by Asobo Studio, and is a racing game released by Codemasters in 2009. The background of this game is set in the imaginary future. The continuous environmental damage caused by human beings for many years has led to the deterioration of the climate. At the same time, due to the soaring price of oil, a race on the wasteland in order to win fuel has emerged. This game is the largest map of its kind, with a total map area of nearly 15,000 square kilometers, and the areas of more than 2 Shanghais added up. The game has a lot of freedom. You can drive as long as you're on the map, and you don't even need to care about any roads. At the same time, there will be various kinds of severe weather, like thunderstorms during a race, and all the players need to do is to let their car roar and win. And finally, in first place, we have The Elder Scrolls II: Daggerfall, which was released in 1996 when a new genre of games was created. This game has a very high degree of freedom, and the game has a very large map. The total area of its game map is up to 16,000 square kilometers. According to calculations by netizens, it takes 60 hours to complete the map on 2 feet. On such a large map, players have 16,000 locations to go to, and there are almost unlimited tasks to complete. As for what tasks player needs to complete and in what order to complete them, there's no requirements in this game. Due to the early release of the game, many players have not experienced the fun of this game. Last year, a foreign player used the Unity engine to reset the game and completely reproduce the main tasks of the game. Interested players can learn about it. Yeah, that's right, Pokemon Go actually has the biggest in-game map of any game. Pokemon Go is a 2016 augmented reality mobile game developed and published by Niantic in collaboration with the Pokemon Company for iOS and Android devices. It uses the mobile device's GPS to locate, capture, battle, and train virtual creatures called Pokemon, which appear as if they're in the player's real-world location. The map is pretty much the whole Earth, with a radius of 3,958.8 miles, and a land area of 57.51 million square miles. As for the entire surface area, it is 196.9 million square miles. To be honest, whether a game is big or not doesn't mean anything. For a snail, it can take hours just to get to a destination. Also, the size of the game isn't the only feature of a game. Too big of a map won't make players inspired to explore the whole thing. Nowadays, game companies are able to achieve the open in open world games. But it is rare to see a game company achieve the world aspect in open world games. To have the open aspect, you just need a big map. But to have the world aspect, you need advanced AIs and NPCs. Just like in The Legend of Zelda, if you bring a flaming sword up a cold mountain, you won't be cold. But if you bring it on grassy plains, the apples and flowers get burnt. Hopefully newer games can focus on both the open and world aspects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.